A lot of people talk about how sterile their house feels after they remove their Christmas tree, and I found a great way to combat this is to decorate for winter. So I bring in some of the beautiful elements of the outside season of winter in nature, like pine cones and evergreen, birch bark, and the glitz of snow into my home so that the inside reflects the outside. Now, I just decorate a few key areas so that the high impact areas that my family and our guests enjoy are featuring little touches of winter. I want to show you how. So come with me today as I decorate my home for winter. If you live in a home that has a mantle, this may be one of the areas that you want to make a key place to decorate as well. For me, I just use a very simple formula. The mirror stays up all year round and it's centered. And then I lean a canvas print that feels seasonal up against that. And I layer that with a large vase that I keep full of seasonal greens. In this case, I'm using some faux aspen branches and I'm layering that with some pine branches. These pine branches have some mix of greens, so there is some eucalyptus and silver dollar eucalyptus and even some cedar in here. So it looks really natural and organic, I think. So I just layer that onto my mantle, and I think those three elements really pull together for a simple, beautiful focal point. Now, I think that bringing in the textures of winter is really critical to a beautiful outcome. So here I'm just using some natural elements and then I'm changing out the pillows on my sofa for things that are really high texture, like knits and tassels, things that feel very layered and inviting. And I also love to use fur this time of year. So I have some faux fur on the sofa, and then I do have a reindeer pelt on top of my armoire, which adds some really beautiful texture. It sheds like crazy, so I definitely don't want that somewhere where anybody can touch it. I like to switch out what is in this dough bowl seasonally. So I put in some greenery, I'm adding fairy lights, and then I'll put in two ceramic birds and two ceramic pomegranates that are gilded. And it just makes for a very sweet centerpiece. Now, if you're wondering why I don't have any chairs around my table, I am just living in my season. My son is always playing around the table, and I got sick of moving the chairs for him, so I just took them out. Now, normally my seasonal decor is met with a very deep clean of my home before I seasonally decorate. But this time of year, I've already done that in late November, so my house isn't that dirty. It just needs a quick wipe down. So I'm doing that before I put down my centerpiece. In this little hutch, I keep some photos that are appropriate for winter. You know, pictures of my son playing in the snow, my husband and I out on the range when it's cold outside and we're bundled up. And it's just the sweet memories of our family. And then I layer in a couple of sugared pine cones along with the things that I'm using regularly in this cabinet. Much of the greenery that sits out in my home during Christmas does stay out during the winter season. I just remove any red that I had in the greenery. So I do that on my little sink tray. I do that next to my stove. And then I also have a little table by my stairs that has greenery on it. In my foyer, I have just twisted a frosty looking garland together and put it at the base of my lamp. I've left my little ice skate ornament that I had out at Christmas time, and then I've put a plaid blanket scarf on my little bench. My powder bathroom had this beautiful winter print in it during Christmas time, so I'll leave that in place, and then I'll just add a few greens to this little pitcher, and I'll place it on the counter along with a hand soap and a little faux candle for a little bit of sparkle. During the winter, I put faux pine branches and candles in my urns, along with a few aspen branches, a very textured knit throw, and a little plaid pillow on my bench. And this looks very pretty at night, kind of has a nice glisten to it, but it's fairly simple. We do get pretty high winds, and so I don't want to be chasing a bunch of pillows down. I change out the wreath on my door and just tuck this cute little scarf around it. I hope this video has given you some ideas for where you can incorporate winter decor. If you need some ideas, I've linked some products below. Meanwhile, I hope you'll like and subscribe.